In the journey of spirituality, discretion is often more important than display. Saints and seekers alike have emphasized the need to preserve one's inner sadhana or spiritual practice from external attention. True progress happens in silence, in solitude, and in secrecy. This approach is echoed in the life and teachings of Karaikkal Ammaiyar, one of the most revered Nayanmars, who turned away from all worldly recognition to live in total devotion, hidden from the eyes of society yet shining in the sight of God. It is extremely difficult to escape from the clutches of desire, as it is the very cause of birth. Overcoming desire calls for complete effacement of the consciousness of being a separate entity, utter annihilation of the ego. Desire and its consequences can be conquered only by being constantly in the company of God, for He is the very antithesis of desire. Prapancha in itself is neither good nor bad. Paramartha consists in withdrawing all desire from prapancha, all attachment for it. Prapancha needs publicity or show of one kind or another. A woman, for instance, would think nothing of ornaments or fine clothes if prevented from showing them off. On the other hand, it is best to preserve Paramartha unnoticed by others, for it is very prone to be affected by the evil eye, not only of some other person, but even of oneself. This can be achieved by taking care to see that it is unnoticed by others, and in the conviction that the sadhana is being performed by the grace of God or the Guru. One should outwardly appear to be a common worldly person. Inwardly, however, one should devote oneself completely to God. It is really an art to play this double role. A sick man has only to lie in bed patiently and to accept passively, cooperatively, the nursing tendered by others. The medication, however, must be taken by the patient himself. Even a prince will not get cured by relegating this task to a proxy. So too, in the spiritual quest, one must oneself remember to have a constant awareness of God. Do not follow an untried, unknown person, an imposter, a charlatan. First, it's so important to understand clearly and correctly what Paramartha is, and then follow the path diligently. Beware of being misguided, for to be misled is as much disastrous as misleading others. Remember that prapancha carried out in constant awareness of God becomes Paramartha. Conversely, even Paramartha pursued with self-conceit is as harmful as mere prapancha. Every day we read and hear of outrages, crimes, immoral behavior, and discontentment in the world. All these can be traced to the spurt in greed for money and power. Generally, to those with whom God is pleased, He gives just about enough for livelihood, while He tests others by giving much more money than their needs call for. Karaikkal Ammaiyar's life is, a radiant example of how true sadhana must often go unannounced. Born as Punithavati in a wealthy merchant family in Karaikkal, she was known for her deep devotion to Lord Shiva. Even after marriage, her life was centered around selfless service and spiritual surrender. Once, her husband sent her 2 mangoes. A hungry Shaiva devotee came to her door, and she lovingly gave him one of the fruits. Later, when her husband returned, she gave him the other mango. Pleased with its taste, he asked for the second one. She prayed to Lord Shiva and, miraculously produced a divine mango. When her husband tasted it, he realized it was not of this world and was shaken. Convinced that she was no ordinary woman but a divine being, he left her and remarried, declaring her a goddess. Instead of turning bitter or clinging to the world, she prayed to Lord Shiva to remove her physical beauty so she could live unseen, away from worldly glances. Granted this boon, she wandered as a skeletal figure singing hymns to the Lord. She became one of the earliest bhakti saints to fully renounce even the identity of woman, wife, or person to merge entirely with her Lord. She walked on her hands to Mount Kailash out of humility, choosing complete effacement. Her life is a living testimony to the truth. Secrecy in sadhana deepens its strength. She carried her inner fire quietly, untouched by the world's opinions. True Paramartha must be safeguarded like a sacred flame in a storm. It needs shielding from external winds of ego, praise, doubt, or pride. As Karaikkal Ammaiyar showed, spiritual strength grows in silent humility, far from public gaze. When one appears ordinary to the world but inwardly burns with divine longing, God surely dwells in such a heart. Let our sadhana be private, personal, and protected. Let it not seek approval or admiration, but only the Lord's glance.